in the island of Borneo. And I was single back in those days, so I came back with the nickname of Wild Man of Borneo. You can imagine some of the stories I had from back then. Guatemala is very dear to my heart. It's where my collaborators, Chuck, Sheila, and I had some wonderful experiences. And it is also where I got this pin right here. The pin says Responde. This pin was given us to by the mayor of Guatemala City, who was actually running for the presidency of the country that year. So when you hear the word Responde, it's very, very powerful. It's one single word, but it means responsibilities, social and community responsibility, call to action, and doing the right thing. We also learned an ancient Quiche Mayan text on that visit, the Popol Vuh. And there was a passage in that text that is very, very powerful and resonates in Responde. It's something I'd like you to hear, if you could please listen to this. Don't wait for others to remind you of your duty. You have a conscience and a spirit for that. All the good you do comes from your own initiative. Not a bad foundation to build your character. Responde. Estella, your organizing committee has made this a wonderful event. I applaud you. This is great. You told me one thing, just try to leave a message with everybody. So I have one final statement. 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to address 12 Latin American judges and prosecutors visiting our juvenile correctional hall. They were sponsored through the State Department, and the local International Resource Center brought them here to learn about what we do here with kids. We had an open discussion about common issues plaguing our countries. The topic of education came up, so I took the opportunity to address the changing and controversial issues of immigration and how it influences educating children of the immigrants from Latin America, both legal and illegal. We discussed the differences between free compulsory education in the United States and how it differs from the many Latin American countries where education is not available to all. It's a privilege there. Not everybody gets an education. I spoke further about the concept of tradition of education. How do you develop a tradition of education in youth? It's through their families. How many immigrants come to the United States? They've lacked the tradition. How it is influencing our schools and our overall society. Immigrants want Immigrants want what we want. They want success. They want the American dream. They want their children to have education. But because of the huge challenges they face with language barriers, lack of familiarity, and other culture differences, it's hard to overcome these things. Well, I thought I actually got the message across. But there's a word that term we use. Did you ever hear the term lost in translation? That is when a judge from Nicaragua took over. She spoke nonstop for 5 minutes, detailing issues of immigration from her country's perspective, the political and social economic influence, the fact that her country, while poor and still suffering from decade-long U.S. trade embargoes during the Sandinista regime, has now recovered enough to provide education free to children up to the 5th grade. She spoke of the power of the people to overcome adversity and the need of the United States to recognize that immigrants alone are not the cause of crime in the United States. She spoke of exploitation of workers by employers in the U.S. She complained about the deportation of gang members back to their country and how that has become such a thorn in the country's side. She finally stopped with tears in her eyes. There was no simple response. We took a moment to gather ourselves, and then we left the tour of the facility. We have an awesome responsibility approaching this. We have the 2008 elections, folks. You heard it earlier about you have the means. This evening, I said on either side of the aisle, I want what we all want. We want leadership. We need someone to step up and become the leader we can trust, somebody we can unite. I simply advise you to know the issues, know the candidates, and most of all, know leadership. responding. Thank you so much.
Before I introduce our last speaker to give the final remarks, I just want to take 1 minute to say thank you to the organizers of this event for inviting me to be your master of ceremonies, to Jesse, to Estela, and to all of the Latin Hispanic services. I say muchas gracias por esta invitación. Let's give them a round of applause. And now to give the final remarks, I introduce to you Jesse Gutierrez. Let's give him a round of applause.
Wow, fabulous evening, and we have a lot of award winners that have deserved it. And I know that they're out there also, a lot more, and we hope that we can bring some of you next year to this event. So don't be surprised that if you're helping the Latino community in any way, form, or fashion, and if you're doing your best, you try to improve that part of the community to help it improve the entire community, because by improving one section of it, you improve the entire community and the entire world. So, I want to thank everybody that came tonight, the Silver Legacy and the El Dorado and their staff. Thank you so much. They did a fabulous job with the food. Thank you, Assemblyman Ruben, for being here. We're honored. And thanks to each of you for coming here tonight and demonstrating your support for the Hispanic community. Nevada Hispanic Services is successful because of the support and the partnerships that each and every one of you bring. And I would like to make sure that the co-chairs, my wife, who was in charge also of the Adelante committee, who doesn't take very much credit, my right-hand person, my soulmate, thank you so much, Dave, for helping us put it all together. And all of the Adelante committee, you just did a fabulous job. Our co-chairs, Mike Haley and Adam Gonzalez, they showed another side of themselves tonight. Thank you very much. We might need to give them a few cumbia lessons though. And if you stay a little longer tonight, we had the band that's King of the Cumbia starting to show up and ready to go. Because we need to get this party going. We need to get Cinco de Mayo started. And tonight, our fabulous band, by popular man, is back now. That's another show. They'll be starting playing in a few minutes. Congratulations to all of our award winners. Together, we live the promise of Adelante. Together, we go forward. And this concludes the 2008 Adelante Award winner. And I would like again to introduce, for the second time in 2 years in a row, the Sonora Show Internacional. Let it go!